Yes, and you should. Yeah, you should really again. Sorry,
morning. My name is Katie Goslin, and my pronouns are she, hers. I'm a white woman with brown hair and glasses, wearing a navy sweater with red stripes, and sporting my Band-Aid from my flu shot from yesterday. And I'm happy to serve as the worship associate this morning and to call us to worship with these words. What is it we worship when we gather as you use? Rather than offering only adoration to a deity, we gather to practice reverence for all life, to honor the divine in each of us. We gather weary and uplifted, despairing and hopeful, broken and yet still whole and fully loved. We gather as interconnected webs to live into the prophet's words. All that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you. We gather trusting that, as our beloved ancestor proclaimed, we are all bound up in one great bundle of humanity. We gather because we need one another, in body and spirit, with heart and mind. We show up again and again, returning to covenant, turning to repair, imperfectly with love. We make our time and space together holy, with our attention and intentions. So let us now turn our attention to this moment. Come, let us worship together. And I'm going to ring this, and we're going to just take a minute to center ourselves before we continue. All right. A flaming chalice has been one symbol of Unitarian Universalism for many decades, a symbol of hope, of reason, of the spark of the divine that shines in all of us. We join our siblings in faith each Sunday by lighting our chalice here in our sanctuary. And for those joining us online, you can also join us with lighting your own chalice. We kindle our flame with these words from Reverend Kim Wildshevsky. We gather the morning after our country filled the streets, with resistance and pride, with fear and an unwillingness to relinquish what we know is good and right and true. Praise for your tired feet and sore backs. Praise for your fingers with marker stains, your hands that held and raised signs, your voices that shouted and cheered and sang. Praise for the people you stood beside and for standing beside people you didn't know. Praise for the people who cannot march and yet who resist and persist in a multitude of ways. Praise for the land that held us all, that has grown flowers out of tears and that teaches us how to root, that reminds us how to rise and push and bloom again and again and again and again. And now, in body or spirit, please join us for our opening song, number 34 in the Gray Hymnal, Though I May Speak with the Bravest Fire.
that lovely singing. Welcome everyone to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Urbana-Champaign. We are people of many different ages, genders, histories, bodies, identities, and beliefs. And we are united in our commitment to our mission to build community, seek inspiration, promote justice, and find peace. My name is Reverend Beth Monholland. My pronouns are she, hers. I am a very short, middle-aged white woman with dark curly hair, wearing a beautiful floral stole this morning, and I have the deep honor and joy to serve as the lead minister to this congregation. I want to join Katie, our worship associate, in welcoming you this morning, both here in body in our sanctuary and to all of those joining us online. And if you are a visitor today, I want to bid you a special welcome. If you'd like to stay connected to us to learn more about this congregation and be added to our weekly e-news, please fill out a welcome guest card, which you will find both in your pews, and the ushers can hand you one. Just put that in the offering plate later in the service so we can stay connected. I also invite you to look around at the color-coded lanyards of your neighbors. We wear these in these endemic times as a simple way to say, hey, if I have on yellow or red, please just wave at me from a distance. And if I'm wearing green, you can shake my hand or hug me with consent. And this way, we practice care for each other. I mentioned that we are a congregation of all ages, which means that we welcome the noises and distractions that little ones can bring into a Sunday morning. Kids of all ages are welcome to stay in the sanctuary for the entirety of the service. We do have a nursery for little ones under 3, if families feel that's a better choice for them. And our faith development Sunday morning classes are meeting today. And so kids and faith development volunteers will be released to their classes after the time for all ages, which is noted in your order of service. And no matter your age, if you feel the need to keep your hands busy in order to listen, we have coloring and activity packets in the entryway. And if you feel like you're a little too crowded in this space and want to have a little more wiggle room, stretch your legs, just attend to your body, you are welcome at any time for any reason to join the live stream of the service in Fellowship Hall. Today, I want to acknowledge that a week ago on Monday, it was Indigenous Peoples Day here in the United States. And we do not do a land acknowledgement every week or even every month, but for special occasions, I want to lift that up, and today is one of those. The land on which we currently reside is the ancestral lands of many nations who hunted and traveled and called this place home. Notably, the Confederation of Illinois Tribes, who lived here before the white settlers arrived, included the Peoria, the Cahokia, the Kaskaskia, the Michigami. These people and others who followed in their footsteps are still striving for sovereignty and dignity today. And we know that a land acknowledgement is neither relationship nor reparations, but we trust that it is one part of the process on the pathway to those things. We trust that grappling with our history with both honesty and care calls us into deeper spiritual alignment. And so this morning, no matter who your ancestors, our ancestors are, I want to collectively honor all those who have come before us and made this moment in this place possible. Let us breathe in gratitude and breathe out welcome and love. And now that I have bid you welcome with many words, I want you to welcome each other. I'm going to ring our chime, and you can turn to someone near you, say, hello, my name is. And if you feel, as I often say, particularly sprightly and want to move about the room, you can, but we'll come back together when I ring the chime again. If you're joining us on YouTube, drop a hello and a greeting in our YouTube chat. Thank you, everyone, for those lively greetings. I love your energy, and I want to invite you to keep those conversations flowing immediately after this service in our fellowship hour, with the side note that it's going to be a shortened fellowship hour today because we have been engaging this weekend in our Next Steps stewardship consulting process, and our consultant, Rachel Maxwell, will have her findings for us at 11:45 in Fellowship Hall. You can keep drinking your coffee and eating your treats. You'll just also want to turn your attention to Rachel. If you're joining us online, you can also zoom in for that. A link for this afternoon's presentation was sent. So if you're here and you're like, Beth, I was gonna go home and eat something, you can, and then just zoom in and hear what Rachel has to say. So, with all of that, it's our time for all ages. I already know that Theo's gonna volunteer. Not just because he's Theo, but because he and I actually talked about it. But I actually need, Theo, you can come on up. I need 3 other people, any age, who want to do a really simple activity. Hang out here. Is Milo here? Oh, yep, all right. Theo's voluntolding people, that's fine. But I just need 4 folks, and it doesn't have to just be kids. Although you all are way more, eager than mature. Theo's more mature in his willingness to get up here and be silly than the grown-ups are. That's all right. I mean, Theo wants to know why we're putting paper right by fire. Theo, because I'm trying to help you practice taking safe risks.
This sounds fun.
Okay. Theo, in actuality, I just hadn't thought it through that deeply yet. I'm teasing you. All right, here's what I need. I only have 4 pencils because I didn't expect a mad rush. I should have, right? Can everybody take a piece of paper? Can you take one and pass it around? Hay otro. Take pencil.
You know Spanish?
Sí, yo hablo español. All right, everybody, just pretend this is all super smooth and exactly as planned while we distribute pencils. And Theo asks me about Spanish.
That pencil's broken.
That's all right. So here's what I want everybody to do. And you can, if you don't want to stand by the fire, as Theo rightly pointed out is unsafe, you're welcome to sit on the floor. You can go over there. But here's what I want you to do. Are you ready for your instructions? You just have to write something really nice to somebody in this room. It can be your parent, like, hey mom, I love you. It can be your sibling, like, hey, you don't stink today. I don't know, whatever nice thing you say to your sibling. And you can draw something for them, but you've got like 30 seconds to just write or say something really nice to somebody in this room. Do, 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 do. No pressure. Oh, thank you, Juan. Juan is like, do not let her hum. Are you almost done writing and drawing your very nice message to somebody? When you have them finished, just bring them to me with your pencils too. So that.
I want to read this aloud, though.
Oh, I'm not going to read any of them aloud. Don't worry. I won't here. Yeah, these are private messages. That is good. Theo said I'm not allowed to read it aloud, and that is completely fair. Thank you for setting that boundary. And Theo and I are practicing good boundaries and consent right now. Yes.
Huh? And I will sue you if you do.
Oh, but Milo's going to sue me if I violate that boundary. That's fair. That's fair, I'll say. Are you all almost ready?
1 more minute.
1 more minute. That's all right. You all can keep doing that. And I'm going to do this. Daddy, gracias. You handed me my pencil? You can keep the pencil. No, all right.
So respectful. I feel so loved right now.
Can I have yours, Lucy?
I feel so loved.
Thanks, Olive. Milo said it feels so nice to have his thoughts crumpled. Here, I'm going to hand you one. Can you open it up? You don't have to read it. Just open it up.
This is mine.
Fantastic. Whew, I'm not getting sued. Open it up. Really, open it up and tell us. Can you still read the words on there? On your page, can you still read them?
Yeah, I can read them.
But is it all wrinkled and a little bit harder to read? And was it kind of mean of me to take your stuff and crumple it up? Lack of respect, as Milo pointed out?
Yeah.
Yep. And do you think the person you wrote this to, if you handed it to them, even though it's now wrinkled, not because of your actions, but because of someone else's, that they might say, wow, I don't know why this paper is so messed up, but your love still shines through? Do you think the person you wrote this to might say that?
Not in the exact same words. But
Not in the exact same words, correct?
I think they might say something like it.
They might say something like it. Well, thank you. Here, I'm not reading it. Do you want to keep it so that I don't accidentally read it later? Just kidding. I'm not going to read it later.
You might accidentally slip out.
Lucy, are you wanting yours back? All right. Thank you all for participating. See, I'm not going to crumple yours unless you really, really want me to.
This is mine. This is mine.
That's awesome. Everybody wants theirs back? Can you find it? They want to take back their crumpled messages, and that's legit. Okay. Sorry, Olivia. Olive, is that one yours?
Yes, this is mine.
All right.
This isn't mine.
It's all right. How about I take them, and in Fellowship Hall, you can say, Reverend Beth, where are our crumpled messages?
Thank God my sister got it.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. Young humans and all of your faith development volunteers, it is time for you. Say that again? No. Thank you for asking. You cannot. Thank you. Hand it to me before you're tempted into sin, Milo. But our faith development volunteers and all of our young people are going to go to their classes now. Thank you for participating. Thank you for letting me crumble your very thoughtful words. And as they go, it's time for us to shift into the space of spiritual generosity. We know that when we gather each week, we bring all of who we are, the entirety of our lives, into this room with us. Into all the rooms we are, we carry the wholeness of who we are. And so it is an act of spiritual care and generosity that we make time and space for each other to lay down our burdens and to lift up our joys. It is our practice most Sundays to do that in two ways. We have an embodied ritual where we have bowls of petals and stones and water, and you're invited to come up as we sing a blessing song and drop a stone for your sorrows and a petal for your joys in those waters. And just as those are held in those bowls, to know and to trust that you are held in this community. We will also read joys and sorrows aloud later in the service. And so if you have something today you would like shared aloud in community, you are welcome to fill out a joy and sorrow card, which our ushers have and are happy to bring to you. Or if you're joining us online or here in the room and just prefer things electronically, you can always email us as well to joysandsorrows@uucuc.org. In this way, we practice true care for one another. Let us sing, and if you feel called, come forward to our bowls.
We live our mission at this congregation by connecting day to day and week to week through the opportunities both within and beyond our walls. We invite you to subscribe to and read our weekly e-news to stay up to date on all the activities offered through our faith development program and our congregational life and social action councils. This morning, I want to highlight a few things. It's Pride Week, yay. Yeah, it's Pride Week here in Urbana-Champaign, and UUCUC is once again a proud partner of Uniting Pride's week-long events, culminating in next Saturday's Pride Parade at 1 p.m., and CU Pride Fair in downtown Urbana from 1 to 5. Volunteers are still needed and welcome. Our Faith Development Coming of Age program is still seeking mentors for our youth in 8th through 10th grade. Please contact Kelly Skinner for more information on this important program. As a follow-up to yesterday's No Kings protest, Side with Love and UUANI are part of a larger coalition organizing public actions in front of every AT&T store in Illinois on Sunday afternoon, November 16th. AT&T currently has a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract with ICE and a bigger one on the way. Each congregation is challenged to organize or join an action at one or more local AT&T stores on that date. More information to come. Read more details about these and other events in our e-news and check out the full calendar of events in Realm. Each Sunday, in recognition of our very real interdependence and reliance on each other, we pass the plate and share our offering with an organization doing the work of justice in the world. Our shared offering partner for October is Trauma and Resilience Initiative, a nonprofit organization that educates and promotes healing and resilience in individuals, families, organizations, and communities while advocating for justice and equity for all. This year, they launched Healing the Helpers, a wellness group for frontline staff, and a peer group for nonprofit leaders of color to address vicarious and secondary trauma. You can give through Realm and via the online portal on our website, or if you're here in the sanctuary today, the basket will be passed, and checks can be made out to UUCUC, and in the memo, please put shared offering. Half of all non-pledge donations will go towards sustaining the work of this church, and the other half will go directly to our shared offering partner. The ushers will come forward now as our offertory music begins, and we invite you to give whatever is generous for you. This is also the time to submit a written joy or sorrow.
I think I speak for everyone when I say thank you, Juan. That was beautiful. And thank all of you. Thank you for your generosity, for your financial generosity and your pledges and gifts that keep this church's mission vital and possible. And thank you for the ways you share your time and your talents and make space for our joys and sorrows. I have a lot to share with you today. So where to begin? Several folks lifted up thanks for yesterday's march and rally, the No Kings rally, where millions and millions of people across the US and the world gathered to say we will protect democracy and resist tyranny. I know many of you were there. I was briefly able to get away and see some of you, but not all of you. But thank you for all who were. Alice Smith shares specifically a joy for yesterday's breakaway march that couldn't be limited to the pre-wrangled venues, but a sorrow that they were still dispersed by cops. Anonymously, someone shares they are so proud of all of our members who showed up yesterday. This isn't specifically connected to the rally, but I think it is. This is from the Herzogs who share this joy. Our oldest son, Jonah, who sang in UUC choirs throughout childhood, now sings in several choirs in the Twin Cities. One of them is a social justice choir whose music this season is about protecting democracy. The choir just performed their first concert in Philadelphia, and it was powerful. More concerts will be in New York City, Washington, D.C., and hopefully all 50 states in 2026. Look what UUC Children's Choir can do. Thank you, Herzogs. A sorrow from Beth Simpson, who continues to fight with health insurance companies. Her health insurance company has once again denied her Ability Lab, where she was receiving treatment for her recovery from her stroke. It's a top-level hospital, and they want to help. Beth just asks that we put all of our prayers and good ideas forth. An anonymous, Joy recently went to the pumpkin patch to decorate for the fall, and the choices were vivid, and we had options in all sizes. Yay, fall. Erin Slayton shares, I'm so excited for our first UU Magic group that is going to meet this Thursday, October 23rd at 6 p.m. If you are interested in learning more about various forms of paganism and magic, you are welcome to come to that meeting. Just see Erin in Fellowship Hall. I'm sure he'll tell you more. From Jerry Carden, a joy. Thursday night, the Greater Community AIDS Project celebrated 40 years of service. I served as the founding chair when we started as the Gay Community AIDS Project. Champagne House, our residential transition facility, is still serving clients and full to overflowing. A joy from Peggy Patton. Thanks to Wendy Graves for installing the beautiful and functional wooden railings on the south end staircases. For those who haven't noticed, we didn't have proper railings, and we've needed them a long time. It's an accessibility and safety issue. Wendy made them with her own hands. And then installed them. Thank you, Wendy. As Peggy says, Wendy is a woman of many talents, and we're lucky to have her here in our congregation. This is a sorrow from Dar and Dan Kuglich, members here. Dan is a newer member to our board, and he was unfortunately admitted to the hospital last night. They thought he might have to have surgery. That's on hold for now, but he is still there under observation as they try to get some answers. Please hold Dar and Dan in your thoughts. In addition to our stewardship consulting weekend that's been going on, in addition to the No Kings rally that happened yesterday, there was also the CU People's Chorus, and many members of our congregation who serve in our choir performed there after marching, some of them. And there are two joys shared virtually this morning, one from MR and one from Linda Owens, both lifting up the joy and the beauty of that concert, of the work of this people in coming together in community to make music. I am grateful for that. There is a sorrow from Kelly Skinner, who shares that two university students that she has close contact with had their dad seized by ICE in Chicago. One has already been forcibly returned to Mexico. The other is in a detention center, and the family has not been able to make contact. It's disheartening to hear how these families have been treated. I just want to take a moment for that. A few more joys to share, though. A joy from Katrina Knights, who shares that Alyssa, our communication and membership coordinator, who is on vacation at the moment, made it safely to the UK, is having a ridiculous amount of fun eating fish and chips, and sometime today is going to be looking at the Magna Carta. Go democracy. From Renee and Karen Hart, a joy that after a very transition-filled year, we are finally in our permanent home and settling in. And a joy from Pat McClard, and I want to echo this, gratitude to both Rachel and Jeff, our consultants who've been here, who listened so deeply, took time away from their lives and their families, their opportunities to march in their cities, to be here with us and hear and be able to reflect back to us our hopes and dreams for the future of our congregation. Thank you indeed. And one final joy that I just am delighted to save for last because I'm so thrilled by it. It's from Angie and Dan Urban, who share, although it has not been an easy road getting here and we still have a ways to go, they want to share that they are expecting a baby in February. And that they and their two older boys are absolutely elated with that news. You all, so am I. We're going to have a baby to hold in February. A baby to dedicate and bless, because even in the worst of times, even when the world is burning down all around us, pumpkins still come in all sizes. Babies still get made and born. They bless us as we bless each other. For all that we have shared today, for all the joys and sorrows, the griefs and gratitudes you are always carrying, I say thank you. And for what we have shared aloud, for what you're carrying silently in our hearts, let's take a moment of silence. I'll ring our singing bowl. Lest you forget about these, I'm going to leave them here for a little while. In 2003, some filmmakers made a documentary. It was kind of a documentary / experiment in reality TV, where they gave 12 college freshmen at the University of Texas at Austin, at the time the largest university in the United States per population. They gave them cameras to document their first year, and they also followed them with cameras. They just wanted to see what it was like at the nation's largest public university for these 12 kids from all different kinds of backgrounds, racially, ethnically, socioeconomically, trying to get a glimpse into the college experience. I watched the documentary in 2005 when I was working on my first graduate degree in college student development. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember a whole lot about it. I was deeply already immersed in college student experiences and continued to work in higher education for another 20 years. But there was one particular young woman and her family that has stuck with me these 20 years. This 18-year-old student came from an upper middle class family somewhere in Texas. She was an only child. There were moments, scenes that the cameras caught of how deeply loving her parents were. Her talking about how much she desperately wanted to please them, but also how much she loved to sing and to act. Her dad ran his own business, and he had made it very, very clear to her he was not going to waste his money on some arts degree. But he also made it very, very clear he loved her and that his concerns were for the safety and security of her future. So she needed to do something practical, something grown-up, like finance or accounting. Over the course of that year, we saw her struggle with some of those academic subjects. We saw her long to connect with people in the arts programs. We saw her connect with the Career Center, an unheard of thing for 18-year-olds to figure out how to do. And come up with things, language that she could go back to her dad and say, look, here's why this is a good idea for me. And so we saw them have several arguments that led into fights. And the one I remember is this girl crying and saying, I need to do this. I want to do this. This is going to help me be who I am. You're miserable. Do you want me to be unhappy? And her dad shouted back, yes. Yes. Part of being a grown-up is being miserable, he said. You need to grow up. And I don't have an ending for that story, you all, because 22 years later, that young woman is probably now 40. I imagine her dad is in his 60s or 70s, and I don't even know their names or what's happening to them, but I know that story. I know the story of people having really loving, good intentions. I want you to be safe. I want us to be secure. I want there to be a future, and not being able to listen to somebody else's needs. And that happens in our families. Lots of you have kids, right? It is your right to tell them not to burn the paper at the chalice table. But maybe it's not your right to scream at them that you want them to be unhappy. And maybe it's never your intention to scream at them about that. But the gap between our intentions, our loving, good intentions, and our experiences and lived behavior often is very, very wide. And it is so brutally clear to me in this world when there are so many divisions among us, when we have to literally march in the street to say, please don't kidnap people and send them away. Please don't cut off people's access to food and health care, when we have to plead for humanity and compassion, that the gap between maybe what people want or think and intend and how we behave feels even wider than it's been, at least in my lifetime. And I don't have a clear answer for that, but I think part of the answer is what this month's theme is, which is compassion. Compassion and care for ourselves. We talked about self-compassion last week. Holding self-compassion with gentleness enough to remember other people don't know what we're carrying any more than we know what they are. And so can we move and encounter each other with care? But compassion isn't just being nice. I said that last week. It isn't just feeling good. Compassion truly, as the Buddhists teach it, is about accepting that suffering is real and recognizing our shared humanity through it. Pema Chodron, who is a Buddhist teacher, Pema says that compassion is not a relationship between healer and the wounded. It's a relationship between equals. Compassion isn't, I'm going to come over there and fix you, you broken person. Compassion is, we are broken together. Pema goes on to say, only when we know our own darkness well can we be present with the darkness of others. Compassion becomes real when we recognize our shared humanity. Compassion asks us to see, to recognize, and to move into relationship with others. With boundaries, dear ones. Let's be clear about that. If someone is asking you to care for them without a boundary, that isn't compassion. That's enabling. That's harmful. But with the boundaries of knowing what you can do and where your limits are, of being able to say no so you can show up and say a wholehearted, loving yes to the invitation, to the care. Our shared humanity is there in that space. And we do so much harm when we are shouting at each other only, when we are saying everyone should be miserable because that's the world we live in. Compassion calls us to do something else. The civil rights attorney and founder of the Equal Rights Initiative, Brian Stevenson, wrote in his very moving memoir. He says, we are all broken by something. We have all hurt someone and have been hurt. We all share the condition of brokenness, even if our brokenness is not equivalent. Sometimes we're fractured by the choices we make. Sometimes we're shattered by things we would never have chosen. But our brokenness is also the source of our common humanity, the basis for our shared search for comfort, meaning, and healing. Our shared vulnerability and imperfection nurtures and sustains our capacity for compassion. And it's important that we practice it individually and collectively. It's important we practice that kind of compassion showing up in our shared humanity here in this community, because we're going to get it wrong a lot. We're going to have really beautiful intentions that get crumbled and misunderstood and tossed at somebody like a wadded up piece of paper in 7th grade homeroom. But inside is a message that says, I love you. Inside is somebody's heart. And so we have to grapple with compassion and humanity in order to tend to the gap between intention and action. I believe in people's good intentions. That might surprise you because I'm so pessimistic. I'm a deeply, I say, positively realistic person. My husband says I'm unrationally optimistic. It's just a semantics argument, but I do believe in people's good intentions. I believe in our collective good intentions, and I know that our good intentions often show up in reality like this wrinkled piece of paper. Like that dad shouting at his daughter, be miserable, because that's how you'll be safe as a grown-up. Our own history in this congregation shows us that. How many of you have read the little placard about this building that's outside on Green and Birch? The history of this building. Recently, that you recall? I know Doug has, yes. Rachel has. Not very many. Great, you know I love to give you a history lesson. This space where we are right now is where the Universalist Church of Urbana was, since 1859. And then in 1913, honestly, in my opinion, partly to compete with the Unitarian Church, which had built a shiny new building across town, and the other churches, they were like, our brick building is not telling people how awesome we are, and we're pretty awesome, so we need to build a new building. And folks were like, you're right, because we are great, and we need to let this community know how great we are. So they got some proposals, and one of those proposals was about building a bungalow-style church where everything would all be on one level, and it would be charming and lovely and community-centered. And that was nice. But the other one was from the architect, Mr. Royer, right? We all know his name. His hotel is down the street. And his was a Gothic-style stone building with big beams and a bell tower and stained glass windows. And people went, yes, that's church. That's impressive church that tells people when they walk in how awesome we are, how great this is. And that's the building that won. And they raised the money. You all, raised a lot of it to get that building built. There was a big march of over 1,000 people who came down Ray Street and Main Street to be part of the laying of the cornerstone ceremony. And by 1914, they were worshiping here in this room. And that's amazing and beautiful, but you know what? Even in 1914, no matter how wonderful that community was, no matter how marvelous their message of universal salvation was, no matter how caring and committed, in 1914 there were still people who could not get into this sanctuary because they could not climb the stairs. And that's where we are, living with the beautiful intention of we want to share our good news. We want our community to be welcoming. We want people to know we love them and to feel the glory and the awe of that when they walk in. And boy, they better be able to walk in. There's all kinds of ways that we send messages to people about if they are welcome or not. All kinds of ways, as you've heard me say over and over for the last year and a half, that we can be accessible to people. And there's all kinds of ways we unintentionally hand them a wrinkled piece of paper and say, here you go. Isn't that nice? Our intentions matter. Our intentions matter in the same way our opening song says. Two sides of a coin. They matter because it's important that I know you didn't mean to harm me so that we can attend to repair. But it's also important for you to remember that no matter how good your intentions are, this paper will still never be flat again. The message is still lost just a little bit. Though I may speak with bravest fire and have the skill to all inspire, if I'm not speaking from love, if my intentions and my actions aren't rooted in values, then it's all for naught. The intentions matter when we attend to them with care, with deliberation, with community, and with compassion, and say, where is our values together, so that we narrow that gap, so that when we make mistakes, whether they were on purpose or an accident, we can do the work of repenting and repairing, of coming back and doing better, differently the next time, so we can stop shouting at one another, so we can say, you do have a right to be happy, you are welcome here, you are loved, and we mean it, and people know it, not because we said it, but because we live it together. I believe in us, the we of who we are, and the we of who we can become together. Will you, dear ones, help me in the work of bridging the gap between good intention, loving action, rooted in our values? It's an open invitation to everyone who's hearing me. I hope you'll join me. May it be so, and amen. as a prayer for living into those good intentions, for rooting into our values, I want to invite you to stand in body or spirit and sing our closing song, one of my favorites, The Fire of Commitment. Number 1028 in the teal hymnal. The words are on the screen. May the fire of commitment and compassion and deep connection burn in you, and through all the days to come, may you know also here is a place where you are loved. We'll extinguish our chalice with our words from Reverend Elizabeth Sully Jones. They're in your order of service, and they'll be on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you all. Just a reminder, fellowship hour will be open to you for coffee and treats, and at 11:45, Rachel Maxwell will begin our Next Steps presentation. We hope you all come to hear our visions for the future. Thank you.
But also in this negotiation, what